Spontaneously, I would say that the financial product in the first place is a legal instrument because it's a contract. That's the material, if you like, because you write a contract and you sign it. It doesn't matter if that's like a data instrument or if it's really on paper, whatever. The product side of that would be that you have to invent that contract. That's why they always talk about innovation. I mean, a lot of people wonder, well, what's the innovation in finance? What do they innovate? So innovation is to come up with new ideas on what can you standardize. Not always. OTC, over the counter, is not standardized, but future markets and option markets, etc. Standardized contracts. How can you standardize something that is traded and then make it into a tradable asset or a tradable product where everyone knows what it's all about and you have a contract around it. And that is classically the product. But before you have the product, you need the market.
Okay, a market is a place that can be either a physical place, the marketplace, or it can be a virtual place like a website. And it's a place basically where buyers and sellers in a specific product where they meet. So it's first of all, it's a place where people can actually meet. You can meet on a market to buy cucumbers here in Rotterdam, but you can also buy electricity and natural gas, for instance, on websites which are marketplaces. And the second definition, or the second characteristic of a market, is that on a market prices are determined.
I think you could even extend that and to use a bit slightly more radical language, possibly. If you think of what's the relation of price, the relation to price and what price does, is, I think, to me most interesting to the idea of value, in the sense that we always speak about valuation and value, and very often people use the term value where the term price would actually be more appropriate, right? So in a sense, what the market does, or what finance does, it works through price. And even if they say they evaluate, what they do is they price. It's a pricing machine. And on the other side, and that's, I think, where it gets a bit more radical, is what that means is that it dissolves value. Because value is something you can't quantify really. Price is the one method with which you quantify value. So in finance, value is dissolved in order to instigate price. And if you want to relate it to power, I think there is a connection, but a pretty broad one in a sense, of course, because in a capitalist system, what's interesting? The past, the present, so la la, more interesting. But what's actually interesting is the future. But we have no idea what the future value is. But we can negotiate the future, and price is nothing else than the anticipation of the future. So every price is the presumptive, the possible, or even the probable, where we get into these different categories, of course, of what the future might bring in, you could say, in a number, or as other people might say, in an event. So there, of course, what the price does and what the market does, it builds the future in a sense.